All right, so this final video is going to be me filling in these two geometric forms. So this one's pretty simple because it's basically the same as this. So it's going to have a value of a light, mid-tone, dark. So I just call this 1, 2, and 3 values. And this one's going to be similar as this plane faces the same direction. So it's going to be the same as all these four facing the same direction. So it's 1. This plane's facing this direction, which is the same as this one and this one. So it's going to be number 2. However, this plane and this plane are two different diagonal lines. So if you look at these two values right here, this plane here is going to be in between these two. So it's basically going to be a number 2, maybe slightly darker, or slightly lighter. I'll figure that out once I get there. And then this one's going to be the darkest. This is going to be darker than this plane here because it's almost exact opposite from the light. Almost not the plane that's totally underneath, but it's a plane that's not facing the light out of all of the 3 planes there. So I'll start applying value. And again, I'm going to start with my 4H and just put a base on both. And I'm going to fast forward this, and then towards the end, I'll talk about the value shifts. All right, so I finished applying the value. I'm at the point where I can start to apply cast shadows. But before I do that, I'm going to grab my dark blue pencil here and sharpen it. There we go. I'm looking for a sharpener. And I just want to emphasize a couple corners here because, again, of course I broke this whole thing. You are marrying, contour line and value. So now I'm going to outline this line here, and I made this line here in orange before, and the graphite kind of started it subdued that line a little bit. So I'm just gonna put it in there to make it more concrete of a plane shift. And also there's something else that I'm doing here too. If you can see how I'm like flicking sometimes I'll flick my line off of the point of intersection, and it just adds another element to your drawing, and I like to do that. So whether it be from a lighter line, but I like to go past the point of intersection. So I might go back in after I put the cast shadows in and just do a few more of that, but you can see it's happening here. I just applied it there. It just adds another element of design. Again there, because it's a very technical, mechanical drawing, and this adds to that mechanical aspect of it, whereas the value application feels like more of a fine art approach. All right, so the next videos I'm going to make are about cast shadows, and since my light source is coming in this direction because the left sides of the spheres and the cones and the rectangular forms, the cuboids, are showing a angled direction from the left. One thing I forgot to mention, I forgot to talk about the value. So as I said this before, this was just a simple 1, 2, 3. It mirrors what's happening here. This one almost mirrors what's happening here, except for these two planes. So I decided to make this plane a middle plane between these two, but slightly darker than this side. And then I decided to make this plane darker than this plane here, and it starts to make sense. So that's where I am. All right, that's enough.